Hello and welcome back to that Eurovision site where we're continuing with our national final pre-discussions. Today, Daniel, I'm joined by Euan,
Hello.
and we are talking about Eesti Laul, which is if you don't know, it's the Eurovision pre-selection for Estonia. There are 16 songs competing. What do you think of them?
I think overall it's better than last year, but this isn't where I expect Estonia to be. It's always had this position in the Eurovision national final seasons being something a bit quirky, bit edgy and new. And I think in the last few years it's dipped away and it's sort of been sliding back, but it's still not to the actual where it should be. Um, Overall, I think there's not a lot of like middle of the road in terms of quality songs. Everything is either fantastic or espresso macchiato terrible. Um, Spoilers for what song I think is the worst in the selection. Yeah, so overall I think it's quite good, but it's not where I want it to be. The structure is still a bit weird, but I think we'll get to there.
Yeah, I think I quite agree in that there will always be something I really enjoy in STLL, but there's also just quite a bit of filler as well, in that surely they had better songs than that. I mean, they're all out if you want to listen to them. I keep up like a third of the way through, but I'm sure there's some good songs that also got submitted.
For context, for the because he's not fully explained there. He did say he was going to review, what was it, 178
I
songs?
think it's 117 rejects that I gave up when on my 1 to 100 system, one person got a grand total of 10 across three songs. I didn't want to continue after that.
Yeah, that's not good. But it's like what you're saying with it, there's a lot of filler. Yeah, still I always had that, but you always had that in the semi-finals, and then they had the all-in wildcard rounds and things like that. So the final was very what there wasn't really any like filler songs there, but now it's just one. It's just a
Yeah,
lot of filler.
especially like 23 for me. There was some bad things in there, but none of them made it through.
Yeah, like it was always a unique and like polished final. Even the songs that I didn't like, they weren't you could not describe them as filler.
But now I think this time around there's just songs that I don't think I've seen anyone talk about. I don't think I will see anyone talk about them, even when they're on. Because there's
Which says something because like Eesti Laul is one of the big, or at least it was. This might be the final death knell, Eesti Laul being one of the big national finals of the year, and it looks so many people are just not caring about it. I think yeah, slimming them down in the way that they've done it, and then just having all this filler, it's definitely not worked for them.
one thing I'd like to touch on quickly is I think it is a show that has so much potential, but they need to find out what they're doing with it and what direction they want to take it because when is the last time they've had a consistent format in SLL for multiple years in a row? Not since I've been watching.
29 2019, 2018, 2019 would be the last consistent because
Yeah,
2020 they had the quarter, was it the quarterfinals for 2020, and then slimmed it back down. They changed it about. So yeah, no, there's at least to be
yeah.
consistency. And I know people don't like the the artists who were invited for automatic qualifiers for last year, but at least that way they can set what SDLL is. They're automatically in the final. They're automatically going to be the ones that the people pay the most attention to, and they can properly structure the quality and the sound that they're wanting. This system of just here's everything. It's not working.
I do think who is in the competition is a big part of it as well because there is a lot of talent in Estonia. So why are you getting people in from Sweden, Norway, Finland, where
Yeah, the
there's
songwriters
plenty? plenty of good, not just songwriters. There's like entire performers who don't have like a drop of Estonian in them. So
Hmm.
I'm wondering why.
And look, I like Paul Ray in that's strong. That's stronger than I want it to be. I acknowledge Paul Ray's right to exist as a musician. Should he be writing something in Eesti Laul though? No.
Hmm.
And yeah, my favorite is a Kjetil Merlin song. Kjetil Merlin should not be in Estonia. Like this is a country that can produce great music. Yes, obviously your 117 was not that great. Um, but just think the excitement last year when they had when we finally got Euro and the Two Dragons and all of those other automatic qualifiers and semi-finalists. And it's like there's no hype here because yeah, people are getting excited about Tommy Cash. Then they heard the song
Yeah,
because like Tommy Cash was never going to write something that I like, but I can appreciate his other music is not horrific. This is bad.
yeah. I I feel like he does not have a point for being in the competition other than it's something he's seen other people do. That in a way that he's friends with Yost, he's friends with Carrier. They were in the competition because they wanted to be. They had good songs.
Well, one of them did.
What could be described by a lot of people as good songs and good reasons for being in the competition. Tommy Cash just, I don't feel like he really cares, other than it's something to have on the CV.
Mm.
And it's not a good song. It's really not.
I mean, we're probably the worst two of the site to be discussing this because it's both our least favorite songs. um,
Yeah, but it's with good reason. I don't know what it's trying to be, and I hadn't exactly heard of Tommy Cash. I'd heard that loads of people love him, and I saw loads of people not liking this at all. I know Rory from the site has a friend who doesn't follow Eurovision, loves Tommy Cash, hates this because it's just not what you're expecting from that kind of singer.
mm. And it's worrying because there's not really any other heavy hitter. Maybe Anna Selina is probably the closest in terms of heavy hitters for like doing well in Eesti Laul. So the fact that that is a contender while being so bad just on name alone is not good.
Are there any songs you prefer that you'd like to speak about? Because I
Yeah,
feel
we should probably say something positive.
we've started out quite negative.
It's that Eurovision site. It's a site of haters. Uh, look, Yannick's Frozen is my favorite. It's Is it my favorite? Yeah, I think it's currently at the moment it is my favorite. Like I thought Yannick was amazing last time round. He's come back with a banger. It's very polished. It feels Eurovision ready, which a lot of the other ones this year don't necessarily think so. Another one that I think is absolutely Eurovision ready, which we have two songs here currently at Eurovision at the time of recording. And Marlen's Krullen feels like it's something that could win Eurovision. Uh, Landslide, no, but it has that air to it. It's approachable, but it's still unique in itself. Um, so yeah, those are probably the two biggest standouts. I would say I'm not going to criticize. I don't get the love for Minimal Wind, which I think is probably going to segue onto your favorites.
I'm
It's very there. I like their other stuff is nice, but Armageddon, it just feels like it's there.
I am firstly going to say that I very much agree on. I mean, I agree slightly on Yannick and a lot on Colm that I think it's one of the only things here that can challenge for an Eesti Laul win, especially with how the super final is set up, where I think they could. I think it's plainly obvious that Tommy Cash will get to the super final, but I think it will be polarizing enough that people will not want to see it win enough for them to go out and vote for something else just so it loses. And I think Colm could be a big beneficiary of that because I think it will probably Tommy Cash and Marlon and whoever wins the jury in the super final.
Oh, I think Minimal Wind or Yannick will probably
I
be the
don't.
third one.
I was going to say Ant because
I think Ant. I don't know if Ant is necessarily going to get enough high enough in both the jury and the televote to make it to the.
I would love to see Minimal win in the super final because favorite. We'll get into that, but I just don't see it. I don't think it has the same large appeal that their last entry did, which was, I think, a much better song. As good as I find Armageddon, What to Make of This was something very different and something, especially because it's the type of thing that they hadn't really seen from Minimal Win before. Now they're coming back, they're more established. Might not be, wow, this is so different, this is amazing, but I am not going to not love something from Minimal Win because big fan ever since their last entry into Eesti Laul, and that goes to like their non-Eesti Laul music as well. And it's just it is the exact type of song that I go for in many ways. And but one of my other big favorites is Tula, Rapina, Jack, and Kaiserling, which it's not going to win. It's not going to get close to winning. It might even come last, but I like it.
Mm. But the thing is, if that were, it's not going to win STL. But if it were to have win STL, it stands out in enough of itself that I feel this could actually make the final,
Yeah,
which would be amazing for it. But it's just not going to happen.
I do like how we're getting a lot more entries like that across Europe now, though. It's great.
Hmm.
And we've touched on, I think we've touched on a bit. What are we expecting from this show? Like, what are you going in to say? This is what's going to come out at the end of this, however
I
long
think we're probably
evening.
going to have some of the best staging we've ever had because just one night, just one focus on fantastic. Because it was always the case the semifinals were a bit naff because I don't know why. There's just they never felt polished, but the final was amazing. So the fact that you just have everyone just focusing purely for that one night, I do feel that this is probably going to be an amazing production show itself, probably one of the best. Um, but I do think I'm probably going to be disappointed with the actual song outcome.
I also think there's a number of names in here who know how to put on a show.
Hmm.
Like we've got Anna Celine, she's been around for years. I think Yannick could bring something really interesting in terms of staging. Uh, Minimal Wind, they if it's anything like how they stage What to Make of This, they'll do well for that. And I think the most interesting what is going to happen is Tommy Cash probably
Hmm.
because it's very open as to what he could do in that
I feel there is
he's
the possibility they might go too much with the staging and then not make it to the gold final, super final.
I think the only way that would happen is if the jury really hates it, which I don't want to count out as a possibility
Hmm. But
because there are
even
16 songs here. If it gets like really far down the jury rankings, that could do a lot for it.
I think because there's like you say there's Anne Marlin, there's Anna Celine, Yannick, and Minimal Wind. There's other people. There's other ones there that I feel could take a lot more televotes. And if they go too hard, it might put off like people who are not necessarily Tommy Cash fan. Yes, you don't vote against something, you only vote for something. So someone not liking it doesn't necessarily mind. But it's the people, the casual listeners who will come, who's casual viewers who will vote. They may be put off by it, and if they go too weird with too out there with the staging. So I feel there is the possibility it might not. It's a slim one, but yeah.
I didn't mention before that if you're going to write a song in Italian, make it make sense. It's
Yeah,
those aren't words. You're just saying things. Right, what else do we need to talk about? Uh,
there is the wild card. Do we discuss the mess that was?
I think we discussed the mess that was the wild card.
But like the final wild card, we discussed the ridiculous like big wild cards because announcing all songs. How were those the shortlist?
I don't know. I think there were one or two that I liked, and I don't think either of them did particularly well at all. And I also think they need to not do that ever again. Because
If they do it, they need to do it with considerably less, so at most 10.
at most 10 and sort out how voting works, because one vote a day is just stupid. And especially that I'm not from Estonia, I could vote and then I could open an incognito window and vote again. It just seems like a really easily cheated, and I am not surprised at all that this voting system caused controversy because
I'm
it's
also not surprised that it chose one of the worst songs to go through because of such a ridiculous voting system. Because
yeah.
Marta, she has a lovely presence, a nice voice. Tansin Vale is just not it though.
I would say it was one of my favorite ones in the selection, but I don't think it won because of the strength of the song. It won because she ran a good media campaign behind it.
Which was
Um,
always the problem with the online wildcard rounds for the semi-finals, because you'd have people who would do it dreadfully in the semis. They do absolutely fantastic in the online jury because they're able to like rally their fans, and then nothing. They get nothing in the final.
yeah, and also doing it, announcing all however many, and then waiting quite a while for the 16th. That she has way less time than everyone else to prepare now.
Mm. Yeah, it should have been done a lot earlier.
So she was, and to be, it should be. You said like sum it down. It should be like three that you were choosing from.
Mm. Oh
Maybe
yeah,
like
no, I think it
five,
should probably be three, but if you're going to do a bigger one, at most 10, but it should be much less.
and it should have been answered Metal Project.
I would be okay with Answer Metal Project. I, I do think Horror Dance Squad would have been fun though.
It would have been terrible, but a fun kind of terrible, I think.
Yeah. Oh yes. It's like to quote the great Angus, it would be high camp.
But unless we have anything else to add,
I think we've gone through all of our hating hating for this evening. And we
thank you very much.
this hatred is said with love because we
Yeah,
want SD
yeah,
Laul to be
yeah.
amazing.
I think we are two very pro SD Laul people in
Mm.
general. In that, I think everyone in Eurovision, but especially on this site, we love SD Laul. I think every person here has that one SD Laul song that they really go for. And that is the type of national final SD Laul should return to. I don't think there's that type of song this year, really, that people will be talking about in like 5, 10 years.
Well, maybe saying how bad espresso macchiato was.
Eh, I should have added it in a positive way. But with everything else out of the way, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Check out that Eurosite on all the social medias. They'll be in the description if you don't want to go looking. And also be sure to check out that Euro podcast wherever you get your podcasts. You might be listening to one right now as this will be uploaded as one. So thank you very much for watching or listening, and goodbye.
Right.